Hi, this is Darius O'Kane at Tech Lab Studios, and today we're taking a look at one of the questions that somebody had in the Evmux users group, and this had to do with the teleprompter feature in Evmux. So I admit this is something that I really haven't dealt with in the past, but hey, I'm going to go ahead and take a stab and see what we can do to help out and learn more about this feature. Okay, so here I'm over here in an EVMux session in the studio, so I can go ahead and go over what we're dealing with the teleprompter. I'm here and I have just basically a blank studio. I don't have any scene set up. So the teleprompter option is going to be available in the apps and widgets section. So one thing, we do have the apps and widgets available to us in the marketplace, but if we're under the dynamic scene and we try to select teleprompter and add it to the scene, we're going to get a notification that says a new scene is required and that apps and widgets can only be added to pro scenes. So this is one thing to keep in mind, is that you're going to have to use pro scenes to be able to take advantage of this feature. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do under pro scenes, I'm going to do a new scene. And I'm just going to select the scene background at random. So I'm going to select this one here. And so it created that scene for me. Okay, so what we want to do now is add the teleprompter to this scene. So I'm going to go up to add new layer. We're going to come down to apps and widgets. Scroll down to teleprompter and then say add to scene. And we see that there is a text box that was added to the top of our scene here. This is our teleprompter. And if we take our mouse and come over to it and click and hold the left button, we can move this around as we need to. We can also use the handles to resize this as large as we want it. And then the thing about it is that this text only is going to exist on your preview side. It's not going to show on the live side, so the people watching your stream will never see it. So if I do a transition, when I did that transition, that I see my scene over here in the live side, but of course I only see the scene with my teleprompter over here on the editor side. Okay, so that's really what we want there. We want to make sure that they're not seeing anything that they should not be seeing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in one additional scene. And this time I'm just going to make this a blank scene and say create. And then I'm going to go to add layer, media file, and I'm just going to pick one of the graphics that I have here in place and put that on the scene and maybe resize it a little bit. Okay. So now we have a scene. Then again, I can come in here. I can do add new layer, go to apps and widgets, and add in teleprompter. Okay, so that gives me a teleprompter here as well. Okay, one thing that I want to point out, if I come back over to this first instance of teleprompter and I double click on it, it's going to take me into the settings for it, where I can change things. I can start the teleprompter rolling. That's actually going to start scrolling on the screen. Okay, so I have that going. I can also pause the teleprompter. And then the other thing I can do here that's going to be very important is that I can edit the text. So the text that's on here is just a template base set of text that is included when we first add it. I can click on edit text and it's going to bring me to an edit window. And in this case, I'm going to select and delete everything that is in this window. And in my case, I do have some text I want to replace it with. So what I would do is go ahead and put it into just a standard text editor or into Word, whatever you want to show in the teleprompter. Copy that and then paste it in place in the teleprompter edit window. Once I get finished with that, I'm just going to click done. And now the information that I had in that window shows up here. Okay, so again, when I start my teleprompter rolling, it's going to show for me. Okay, when I transition that window over, they only see the graphics. They don't see the teleprompter. Now, one thing that I would want to caution you on, if you do it the way that I just did, where you add a teleprompter on one screen and then you add another teleprompter on another screen, then they are totally independent. So you would have one set of text on one screen and another set of text on another screen. That could be the way that you want it, but if you want it to be the same set of text on both screens, there's a little different way that you would want to do this. To make it work for me, what I would do is on the second screen, instead of just adding in a new teleprompter, I would go back to my first screen, select teleprompter, and use the keyboard shortcut Control C to copy. Come over to the new scene I want to put the teleprompter on and do the shortcut Control V to paste. And it's going to paste the exact same teleprompter on that new scene. Everything that I had on the previous scene shows up here. From that point, I can go in and be on my first scene, transition it over, and begin looking at everything. Then when I want to switch to my other scene, let's do this. Let's go ahead and start the teleprompter rolling. Then I switch to the other scene. I still have the teleprompter rolling. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that this is in the editor window. To be able to have it seen by the people watching your live stream, you are going to have to transition it over. Okay, then they will see that window and your teleprompter will still be in existence over here. One thing that I wanted to point, another thing that I wanted to point out here, if I go back into the controls for the teleprompter, I'm going to go ahead and stop it for now. You can edit the speed. You can speed up the teleprompter or slow it down. You can change the line spacing in your teleprompter. Give you more or less line spacing to make it easier for you to read. You can also change the font size here. You can change the text to be, right now I have it set on uppercase, or you can have it set at lowercase, whatever is going to be best for you to read it. And then you do also have some options down here to change the text color, the background color for the teleprompter, and also the padding around the text on the teleprompter. Now, one thing that I had to think about is that I needed to make sure that this is going to be large enough for me to read. So you do have some options to be able to control your workspace and what you're seeing. So you do have the option down here in Evmux to click on full screen mode, which will make the entire palette larger so that you can see it a little bit better. Another thing that you can do, if you bring your mouse over toward the middle of the screen, it's going to change, the icon is going to change, and if you click the left button and then drag it to the right, it makes the editor side larger so that it's easier for you to see what's going on that teleprompter. And that in itself helped me out a lot, because once I get everything transitioned over to the live side, I just want to let that roll and be able to see what's going on here. And then again, you still have the options to switch to other scenes. and transition as you need to. So this is a basic overview into what we can do with the teleprompter. I think it's a real good addition. Again, something that I really hadn't looked in the past, but I do see a lot of merits in it. And I think it's something that I'll be using in my productions in the future. So if you have any other questions, anything else that you want us to take a look at, please feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll take a look at it. And other than that, thank you very much for your time.